today's age, the game of basketball has evolved greatly. If you ask a player who's the best, if you ask young players today who's the best player ever, you'll get answers like LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kobe Bryant. If you ask an older generation, you'll get answers like Bill Russell, George Gervin, and Julius Erving. Players that aren't really watched today. If you ask a player that's been born around the year of 94 to 2005 and watched 90s basketball, your answer will hands down be Michael Jordan. It's important to know the history of the game of basketball to understand who is the greatest of all time. I've been playing basketball and debating basketball since I was 4 years old, so I know this game pretty well. Today, I will inform you on stats, reasons, and stories on why Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. Now, the saying goes, numbers don't lie. So let's start out with the stats. In 1984, Michael Jordan played in his biggest game of his career at the time in the playoffs against the Boston Celtics. He scored 63 points. According to a Ahmad Rashad one-on-one interview with Michael Jordan, Larry Bird said, and I quote, "It was like God playing basketball." Those 63 points are still a record in the NBA today in the playoffs. Michael Jordan was a winner. According to how Kobe Bryant compares to Michael Jordan, an article by Bleacher Report, Michael Jordan won 6 NBA championships, 5 MVPs, and 6 Finals MVPs, and is the 4th all-time leading scorer in NBA history. But Michael Jordan was a complete player. He won. Most people look at points and not the rest of the game. He was a 9-time all first team defensive player of the year, defensive team, and 1988 defensive player of the year. He was also great at the University of North Carolina. Some of his accomplishments were he was a 2-time consensus first team All-American. He won the ACC Player of the Year in 1984 and the National College Player of the Year in 1984, and also won an NCAA championship with the Tar Heels in 1982. He also had his jersey retired by the university as well. Now that I've just given you some of his accomplishments, let's focus on his climb to greatness. It took Michael 7 years to win an NBA championship, and the reason why it took him 7 years was because he didn't know how to use his teammates, and that's what players heard around the league. He was selfish, didn't know how to use his teammates, didn't want to use his teammates. And the team that exposed that the most was the Detroit Bad Boys Pistons. The Detroit Pistons used these secret rules called the Jordan rules to stop Michael Jordan. And before he figured it out, the Jordan rules in the NBA world was like the Coca-Cola recipe to the world. Nobody knew it, and nobody knew how to make it. But only the Detroit Pistons had that. So, after they got eliminated from the playoffs, the Bulls, Michael Jordan that summer, after they got eliminated, worked on his mental game, his physical game, and most importantly, he got his teammates better. So the following year, they had the best record in the league and ended up beating the Detroit Pistons in the playoffs, in the semifinals, and ended up winning the NBA championship. After that, they went on a three-peat. And the three-peat is you win 3 years in a row, the championships. After that third championship, a tragedy happened in Michael Jordan's life. Michael Jordan's father, James Jordan, was shot in his car and was killed. And after that, according to Sean Dolan in the book Michael Jordan, Michael said that he was at his weakest point mentally he has ever been in, and kind of lost love for the game of basketball. So Michael and his father have always been talking about fulfilling his father's dream and going to play professional baseball. So after the 1993 season, Michael Jordan went to play for the Chicago White Sox. After the baseball season, Michael was bored. He was going to the workouts with the Bulls, workouts, practices, scrimmages, and he started to get the love for the game back. So during that season, 1994-95 season, Michael Jordan came back to the Bulls wearing number 45 instead of number 23. The reason why we did that was because the last time he wore 23 was when his father died. But around the league, Michael Jordan wasn't the same. They were saying the number 45 Jordan wasn't as quick, fast, or as strong as number 23 Jordan. So Michael, after they lost to the Orlando Magic in the playoffs that year, he came back with the same fire and same edge that he had before he won the championships. So in the 95-96 season, they had the best record ever the next season. And best record ever. But recently, the Golden State Warriors just beat their record. So it's not technically the best record, but it was the best record at their time. The reason why this team was considered the best team ever was because, one, they had the best record ever at their time. Two, they won the championship. And three, they had Michael Jordan, and there was no stopping him. So let's focus on his global fame and popularity. Back in the 90s, Michael Jordan was a star of the league, no doubt. But after the Dream Team was assembled in 1992 and they went to the Olympics, Michael's stardom ran to a whole nother level. According to Ahmad Rashad one-on-one interview with Michael Jordan, Michael said that he needed to get up at 6 a.m. just to go sightseeing in Barcelona. And even then, people still gravitate towards him because he just wanted to be alone. But also, an attribute to his global fame was rap artists today and back then will reference him in songs when they talk about being better than everybody else. But that's not his greatest attribute. His greatest attribute of global fame and popularity is a shoe. In every city, in every state, there is a little kid getting up at 6 a.m. just to go buy the retro Jordans that came out this weekend, or that weekend. According to a newspaper article, global icon Jordan goes amongst games greats. He made $90,000 off of retro Jordans that year, off of last year. So let's recap and admire Jordan's greatness. 1, Michael Jordan's stats explain why he's the greatest. 5-time MVP, 6-time NBA champion. His growth to being great and staying great is the reason why he's also the greatest of all time, because of his work ethic. And 3, his popularity and fame off the court from which came from on the court with Space Jam, retro Jordans, and rap songs, and just being popular. So, with that being said, Michael Jordan is the GOAT, which stands for the greatest of all time. Thank you for listening to my speech.